Good morning and welcome to Coffee Talk. It's leap year. So for those of you who have birthdays today, you're probably like 8. Happy birthday. So, hey buddy. So today's Coffee Talk is going to be a little bit different in that I want to share a story with you that happened to me yesterday because I think it's an important reminder and because I cried hysterically. And I don't want that experience to be in vain. So yesterday in Birmingham, we had 70-degree, beautiful day. Beautiful. Could not have asked for a nicer day. So I packed a big picnic lunch and a bunch of blankets, rounded up the fam, and headed to Railroad Park. It was packed. Now I dressed my kids. I just want to say that. I laid out their clothes, got them dressed, helped them tie their shoes. So we go to the park and we eat lunch and we're playing Frisbee and we're hanging out and the kids are rollerblading and riding scooters, whatever. And Charlie wants to go to the ramps. And Max and Olivia were playing Frisbee. I was reading a magazine. I was actually reading an article that came in for Good Grit. I had printed it out, took it with me. So Michael says, the last words I hear him say are, "I'm taking this one. You keep those two." I look up. Max and Olivia are right there playing Frisbee. I go, "Okay, no problem, babe." He goes off. I look down at my paper. I can hear Max and Olivia. I read 2 paragraphs and look up, and the Frisbee is on the ground and the kids are gone. So I look around me, because it was so fast, my thought was they have to be right in my peripheral vision. They're not marathon runners. There's nowhere they could have gone in that quick. So I look around and suddenly the crowd at the park feels very overwhelming to me. I don't see any more green space. I just see people. I start looking around. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Maybe they went to the bathroom. The bathrooms were right next to us. So I get up and I walk to the bathrooms. They're not in the bathrooms. I start looking around everywhere. I look at the water that runs alongside the park, the train tracks. Now everything is becoming a potential death trap in my mind. Did they fall in the water? Did they climb on the train tracks? Why can't I see them? Now I'm starting to fight the panic. I'm trying to stay calm, but my instinct is growing in panic. I start hearing all of the things that have been told to me over the years. If you can't find your children, go directly to the water. Search the water first. If they're not in the water, you will find them. So I run to the water. I'm scanning the water. I don't see kids. Could they be at the bottom? Should I jump in? Now I'm starting to feel like I'm going to throw up. This is what's happening to me. And I'm starting to think where could someone have taken them and no one would have noticed? I would have heard them screaming. It's not possible that someone would have taken them. They had to have wandered off, but we're in the city now. Do they know where they are? Will they even know how to get back to me? I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. I turn around and across the park, I see 2 police officers talking to people. So I run towards them. They see me coming. They step away from the people that they're talking to. What's wrong? I say the words that no mother ever wants to say. I say, I can't find my kids. What were they wearing? I dressed my own children. What were they wearing? I couldn't get it. My mind went blank. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. The cop was like, we'll find them. Tell me anything about them. How old are they? 8 and 7. Long hair, short hair. We go through that. What, you don't remember anything they were wearing? And it was like my mind was locked. It was like my mind wouldn't let me get past the thought I was stuck on. I couldn't get to what they were wearing. So I started at the bottom, their feet. Okay, Olivia's wearing multicolored shoes. Max is wearing black sneakers. They're both wearing socks. What color shorts? I can't remember. What were the shirts they were wearing? I was playing Frisbee with them for 30 minutes. I dressed them, and I couldn't remember what they were wearing. It was the most awful, paralyzing is the only word I can use. So the cops said, we have cops at the other end of the park. We're going to call. We'll talk about it. So you hear them say, 7 and 8, these sneakers, and you start thinking. You start immediately making deals with God in your mind. I will never think a bad thought again. I'll take 10 years off my life. Anything, if you just let me lay eyes on them. So the cops and I are scanning the park. Nothing. I'm calling Michael's phone. He's not answering because he left it in the car. And I finally see Michael, and I think, oh, they'll be with him. And as I'm approaching him, I see Charlie and not Max and Olivia, and I think, this is impossible. It's not possible. So I get to him, and I'm like, I can't find the kids. And he stands up, and he's like, where did they go? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, I think that's Max on the playground over there. And I turn around, and I see Max and Olivia on this thing, and I feel like I'm going to throw up or pass out or something. And then I think I'm going to beat the living shit out of them. Truthfully, that's what I thought. How dare they walk off without telling me? How dare they do this to me? I was like, I said to the cop, I think I might beat the shit out of them. I don't even spank them, but and he was like, I get it. I'm a dad. I won't stop you. I was like, oh my God. So I get to them. The cops get to them first from the other side, and then I get to them. And I'm trying so hard not to scare them, but and I'm like, you can't do this to me. Why would you do this? And Olivia's like, I don't know. We wanted to explore. I'm like, the cop spoke to them. He pulled them aside and spoke to them for 5 minutes about the dangers, and less about strangers and more about the dangers of a park like this. Water, trains, dogs that get loose, cars that don't pay attention, just danger in general. And, the cop was like, I'm a parent, these things happen all the time, and you need to tell your parents where you're going. You can't wander off. You can't, and my kids were, of course, terrified of the police officer. Like, okay, officer, and then they both started to cry, and I needed to let that happen because they needed to understand how terrifying of an experience it was for me. So I take them back, and I'm talking to them, and I start to cry because I can't not. And Olivia hugs me, and she's like, I'm so sorry that I scared you. And I was like, it's okay. You're okay now, and mommy's okay now. But in that time, I was like, not okay. I was the opposite. And she was like, well, if I ever get lost, I'll always come back and find you. And I was like, if only were that easy. And I only say this because I'm sure there are people out there going, well, you should have been watching your kids. Yeah, I went through that same guilt and beat up in my own mind, but I swear to you that given the situation, I would probably have done it the exact same way again, because they were playing right next to me and I was sitting up. I wasn't even laying down. I was sitting Indian style, just reading a piece of paper. They were right there. And in an instant, they made the decision to drop the Frisbee and run off. And it was in that instant that I mean, I am so far from perfect, but I got to tell you, you need a lesson in priority. You'll get one quick. Holy moly. It was awful. Anyway, Leonardo won the Oscar. That was the other thing I wanted to share with you, but not in the mood to celebrate that. I'm going to give it about 30 minutes. I have to do the news at 8 o'clock, so I can't be crying. For those of you in Birmingham, I'll be on Fox News this morning at 8 a.m. I really wanted to share that story with you because if I can just bring awareness to one mother who maybe is trying to do 6 things at one time. I know you, I am you. It was awful. I love you so much today. Have a great day.